Hello, welcome to Full Time Reds. It's me, Chris Back. It's him, Kev O'Sullivan. It finished Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. Overall, Kev, professional performance, a win before the World Cup break. Thank Christ for that. All null. Are you happy, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what we wanted. Just 3 points, no injuries, no drama, and just get points on the board. That's all. That seems to be all important now, more than anything else. And there was plenty of good stuff in that today. Yeah, there's a few bits to be concerned about, but in general, you're finishing off this part of the season with a bounce, and 3 points. Darwin looks like he's going to the World Cup in flying form. No, I'm happy enough for that. We managed that game out fairly well. Yeah, Ali had to make a few saves, but you know what? That's what you pay the big bucks for.
I
You
mean,
know,
first.
he's
I mean, first. So did Bazuma.
yeah,
We
but Gavin Bazunu made some really good saves. Really good keeper. Seen a lot in that Southampton performance today that suggested they'll be okay.
there's enough
You
there to say
know,
there's enough about them, isn't there?
yeah,
Which you can see probably why they've moved the manager. I'm thinking there's probably more in the squad than there was in the management situation.
yeah, exactly. And the good thing for them is, and it's the same for the likes of Villa and Wolves when Lopetegui comes in. These managers now are going to get time to work with the bulk of that squad to bed in exactly what they do and go again. But for us, it was job done. Really, can't be knocking 3 points off just because it's a soft opposition. Like you still got to go and win it. And we did. We were comfortable, really. I mean, the second half, to me, was just a case of look, manage it, and that's all we did. Really threatened a few times, but we managed the game out pretty well, and more than happy with the performance. More than happy with that.
Chris Golding saying, Kev, at this rate, you'd be looking 12 in March. It's going well. You've made up with
Yeah,
that. Is that your burner account, Kev?
I'm not telling.
Kev Ball saying, Leeds Spurs is the only thing that's pissed me off today, but we have to focus on ourselves.
Yeah,
It is annoying because we could have closed the gap on Spurs more than we have, but I don't know. Feels like there's a lot of holes in that Spurs side at the moment. They all seem to be going through a bit of a rough patch. So, but let's talk about the lineup then, because the lineup came out and the natural social media meltdown happened before the facts came out. So Gomez came in for Kanate, which, let's be honest, nobody thought. But Kanate's not even in the squad. He's picked up a knock. Said it's a minor knock. Game for the World Cup. We're not going to risk anyone.
No.
Other than that, you were sort of going the rest of the 11's fairly standard. Would it be Fabinho? Would it be Henson? Henson's out with personal reasons. And then no Ramsey in the squad. Now, Ramsey, maybe it's because he's come back from a long injury. He did a full 90 against Derby. Is that just managing his minutes, or maybe he's feeling it the next day? And then, unfortunately for him, Curtis Jones again, opportunity for him.
Don't know. I haven't heard this. Yeah, I haven't heard
this. No one seems to know where he is.
No, and I haven't heard anything either. But the thing is, with Ramsey, made sense. You're not going to come back off the length of layoff that he's had to play back-to-back games. And you also had the fact that Milner was on the bench who can cover it right back. Gomez can slip across and cover it right back. It's not the be-all and end-all for him not to be missing. The Jones one, need to find out more why he wasn't there. But other than that, the side pretty much picked itself. That in itself is a problem, but
because it makes you predictable.
That's not a today problem. That's a January problem. But for what we could have done and what we could have put out, that was fair enough. The Ibu one, look, we all know how good he is, but if you're going in against a side who are in the bottom three at home on the back of a week's rest, if you can't do it without Kanate involved, then we're having a very different conversation. So the lineup was happy. I just wanted to see how it would play, and they had it lined up as a 4-4-2 diamond, and it wasn't really. It was a 4-3-3, but
which we kind of gone back to. Last 3 or 4 games. I think just gone back to what we know. I think just get it done. But I saw a stat today from Andrew Beasley does a lot of Liverpool statistics, and he's saying this is the previous 3 times this season we've played someone in the bottom 3, which have been United, Nottingham Forest, and Leeds. Hasn't gone well. So again, this is another hoodoo we had to break the new manager bounce hoodoo. We don't beat aside the bottom 3. So again, it's little things you've got to keep breaking really to kick on. Shirley Lawson, great result. Who knows what the next month will bring? That's the thing, though. You just don't know.
We're in the lap of the gods now.
You're in the lap of the gods. Who comes back fit for me? And we've got 7 to worry about. But then, do players who are injured come back sooner? And has it affect other clubs? That's what you got to.
We have 7 to worry about. Man City have 17 to worry about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like with the 7 players that are going, we've probably got 3 players who are regular starters. Alisson, Van Dijk, and Darwin Núñez will probably start for the rest of them won't. Trent won't start. Not a hope in hell. Gareth Southgate isn't that brave. Henderson won't, and
they'll both be impact subs if they're used at all.
Yeah, exactly. Henderson more than Trent.
Henderson will be used as an impact sub. Trent will be, I think, it'll be like last throw of the dice, or he'll get, if they've qualified after 2 games.
Yeah,
they might give him the 3rd game just to do that. So
yeah, but I mean, you get into today's game, and it was like kickoff started, and I thought we looked bright and sharp. They looked like they were coming to press, which is what you'd expect from Southampton. Even under Hassan Hootel, they were front foot pressing side. Their problem has always been their naivety at the back. And once you can play through the press, you can get in at them. And we proved that time and time again. Once we got through it, Thiago in the first half, I thought was outstanding. He had every trick in the book was there to be seen, and they're so simple.
That body swerve still catches everyone, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And it's like he very rarely ever gets caught, but his distribution is eye for a pass, but the sharpness in his passing was back. And Fabinho as well. I thought Fabinho was quicker on the ball. His reading of the game was a bit better.
Makes what a week off.
Harvey, Harvey as well was.
He got the balance right. He got the balance right both ways, which is he's a young player. The other thing I did love about Thiago, and I always love about him, he's got the most unorthodox tackling style I've ever seen. It works, but it works.
But my God, there's a walking red card with it because he lunges in with 2 feet,
or he goes with the wrong leg. You're going, why have you gone that way? But to be fair, 9 times 10 it comes off. You just go like, it just looks, bizarre, but he's great. But perfect start, though. 6 minutes in. Wide free kick. Bobby flicks it on. It's the far corner. It proper catches Bazuma because he's going the other way for the echo, I think, and then realizes it's going the opposite way. But it's what we haven't been doing enough of, getting early goals at home, just to settle the mood down. And thinking that's what you need then. Plus, it gives you then a bit of a cushion in case you will come to it, in case you cock it up a couple of minutes later. But you're thinking, it was perfect start.
Listen, do you think he meant it?
The flick on?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those where you flick it on into an area, as in, he's been told, flick it back post. But it's like when people take these wide free kicks and they're told, whip it to the back post. Sometimes you get too good a connection, it goes in.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it's in for, because Van Dijk's thereabouts, isn't he, if it was a little bit off target. So, but listen, sometimes you need that little bit of luck sometimes, don't you?
You do. And I think, all you can do is head it into an area, like you said. And Bazunu, he should have got that ball traveled a long way, so you'd expect him to get there. But there was still enough pace on the ball from the delivery, and the angle was always going away from him. So it was one of those, like, it was happening. You could see it. It was like, you're running out of time here, kid. And he just couldn't get there. And there we are. We're 1-0 up. Bobby gets his opening goal. 8 and 9 now for Bobby.
Not bad.
The guy, he couldn't buy a goal for love nor money for ages.
Yeah. Ironically, though, we were actually saying, like, sometimes his link play this year hasn't actually been that good. The thing we all praise him for has been a bit erratic this year, but he's actually scoring more goals than we do.
But I thought it was good today. I thought he was good today. His overall game today was good. He was back helping when he needed to. He's on the ball. Passing was a lot better, a lot sharper as well today. And that finish would have given him all the confidence in the world.
It does help, though, because I thought Salah and Nunez started wide, but got narrow very quickly, which got pace around him, which then hides Bobby's biggest weakness, which is he doesn't have any pace. And he never has. That's just not his game. But when he's got that level of pace in front of him, it makes it much easier to do his natural game and thread them through. You know, Nunez started on the left. We talked about it on Friday. Obviously, quite a few were talking about, they quite like Nunez more through the middle than on the left.
Yeah.
But it worked really well because he starts on the left defensively. He was cutting in loads, though. And he was really deliberately being told, get in the middle as quick as you can. Basically, Robbo was doing the left hand. Robbo just covered the whole left-hand side, which is
it's a 4-3-3 when we're defending. When we're attacking, it's anything but. The three forwards converge into the middle. And it's like an arrow. Everyone points in towards the penalty spot, and everyone looks to be in there at the right time. But off the ball, it just fans out into a normal 4-3-3 into shape, and it normally works really well. You can contain an awful lot of sides, especially sides playing 5 at the back. You can manage the game and manage the ball because they leave you the space in front of the wing backs is always empty. And once you find the space, once you start going into the game, the deeper it got into the first half, we started picking up more pockets of space. And that's when we looked more dangerous. It was almost a case, we'll get onto their goal in a sec, but it was almost a case in the second half where it was just too easy. It was, we were cutting them through for fun. And it was like, look, just knock one of these in and you're on easy street after that. So, I mean, get onto your pet peeve in a minute about there.
Yeah. Jono's come up here. Thiago, that's a bloke wasn't born to tackle. That's other people's job. I doubt he's made this many tackles before coming to Liverpool. I think it's a bit of a misconception because, Shawnee will correct me because he's watched a lot more of Thiago than probably any of us. But for me, that's always been a big part of Thiago's game. It's just not the flashy bit because he's so good as a passer. That's what you fall in love with him for. But he's actually, I think he actually quite enjoys the dirty side and getting stuck in. I think that's actually a part of the game he absolutely loves.
Yeah, his ball recoveries, even when he was at Munich, were always really good. He always had really good numbers at winning the ball back in high up areas. But
here we go. MC Kev, question for you. Kev, would you say Ali should have done better for the Southampton goal?
No.
Okay.
You go and have your rant, and then I'll calm you down.
This way, me and you disagree. No, I think it was a combo when I watched the replay. Ali comes halfway, and then he stops and goes back. So thinking, if you're going to come for the whole thing, we used to criticize Mignolet for this all the time. If you're going to come all the way, or stay in your line. Between the two centre backs, I think they needed to wake up. He's next to Gomez because Gomez is in front of him. He runs off Gomez, but Van Dijk can see the run off him, and he doesn't track him. Listen, nothing away from Ward-Prowse. It's a great ball. It's a really good header. Two centre backs for me should be more alert to that and make that more difficult for him. I think we made that a lot easier than it needed to be. Right. That's how I saw it.
The ball was perfect. That took Ali out straight away. The pace on the cross meant he couldn't come. He had to retreat. If he came, it was an easier chance. Virgil and Joe did exactly the right thing. They let him run. He was offside. And if it wasn't for the person at the end of the line playing him on, that goal doesn't stand. We did exactly what we were supposed to do, apart from Robertson went half second early. That's the problem.
Yeah,
we defended it absolutely perfectly. Would have been offside, apart from Robertson. Once you decide that that's how you're going to defend,
carefully table now. You could break it.
No. But once you decide that that's how you're going to defend, you commit to it 100%, or it falls apart. If you decide, right, okay, it's James Ward-Prowse, he's got a brilliant delivery. We face the other way, and we clear it. We drop deeper, and we clear it. Then you're committing to that way of defending. You can't have a mix and match. And if you're comfortable defending that line the way we defend the free kick, like they had half a dozen free kicks from those kind of positions all game. We defended every single one of them absolutely perfectly, bar the one. And the only reason that one scored was because of Robertson. I think it was Robertson dropped a bit.
I think
it might have been Fabinho.
Fabinho. It's one of the two.
Okay, it was one of the two. But whoever decided to drop in and track a runner rather than let him, if someone wants to run offside, there's plenty of room. Let him run. But hold your line.
I think the big thing that annoyed us both was it was literally a minute after going 1-0 up.
Yes, that's the sickener.
That's the sickener. Is give yourself that cushion of just sit it tight, which is, I mean, he's right though. It is a great ball by James Ward-Prowse, but to be fair, James Ward-Prowse, that's what he can do.
Just come away from this a sec. Curtis is saying there's pictures on Sky Sports News of Everton fans fighting in the stands.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things online after the game. A lot of reaction from the Everton fans that's targeting certain players. Alex Iwobi apparently has been targeted with really nasty stuff. So look, I mean, it'll all come out in the wash, and we'll see what happens probably in the next hour or two. But look, that's there. Don't like to see that at any ground, to be honest.
No, listen, look, we're all passionate about football, but I don't think people unfortunately use that as an excuse to overstep a line. Look, I'm sure that'll come out in the wash, and I'm sure we'll comment when we know more. Yeah. Back to our game. MC, Ali is something else with a beard trim. He looked like a different fella.
I like a comment you put. Yeah, you go on.
Sorry. So I said, I wish he'd kept the tash because he looked like ravishing Rick Rude. There's one for the kids. That was the best look he ever had. Yeah, and I'd love him to bring back the tash. Yeah, so we might have to do a campaign to.
Well, it is Movember, so in all fairness,
that's what I mean. Get Ali getting his tash back a bit. I mean, to be fair, he's probably shakes off thinking, "I'm going to Qatar." I think a big beard.
It's got to be slightly warm there.
Yeah, thinking big beard's probably not the best idea. To be fair, he's probably thinking, "Yeah, I need to get rid of this now."
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, I personally think that Virgil and Gomez did everything the way they were supposed to. Ali, sticker twist, and I honestly think, look, that ball from James Ward-Prowse is a large reason of why I think he should be going to Qatar.
James Stevens agrees with me about
his delivery from set pieces is out of this world. It's ridiculously good.
I think that's why him and Trent are both going.
Yeah, well, he's not going. That's the thing.
I thought Ward-Prowse.
No, he's not in the squad. No, he's not in the squad.
That's a bit of a surprise. That's 3 he's missed out on now.
Yeah, I'm almost. Someone in the chat can correct me. I'm almost certain he's not in.
You're probably right, Kev. To be fair,
he might get a call now that Madison went off, limped off today. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, the early indication was it was a precautionary niggle, so I think they're kind of hoping it's more of a, one of those ones before the World Cup. But there's a lot of them at the moment.
Hannah's just said there her 8-year-old nephew is at the Everton game today with his family. She's right. There's absolutely no excuse for that kind of stuff anywhere near the ground. And I bet you a penny the lads that we know from Everton pods that we've done stuff with in the past will concur 100%.
They'll also call it
them in any way.
They'll also call it out as well.
Yeah, they will 100%.
Like so it's 1-1, and you're thinking, for fuck's sake. I think that's the exact message you got from me. For fuck's sake. I could have done without that. In some sort of gift format. That's normally my response to you when I'm not happy. But the one thing I would say for Liverpool is, unlike previous games when we've conceded an early opener or conceded a soft equaliser, there's all this head down, feeling sorry for ourselves. They went back to what they were doing before the goal and just didn't give Southampton much of a sniff and kept dominating them. And look, Captain Chaos, as he's been christened, was excellent today. Really, really good centre-forward performance. He caused them absolute murder. And to be honest, people don't realise how quick is he? He seems to get quicker every game. Quick.
You look at him and he's 6 foot plus, and he moves like a proper sprinter.
Yeah,
and he's a football version of John Olomu in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
That's a really good call.
He's someone that big, and that he shouldn't be as quick as he is. And I mean, I never had any doubt that we were going to get back into the game. It was just going to be a case of win. I just looked at it and I thought, we're playing really well. We were pushing through the gears, and it was like, it's just going to come. And when it did, I mean, what did you think when it was like?
You felt it was coming. I mean, it was very scrappy. Pinging around the box. When it comes to now, to fair to Harvey Elliott, that's the perfect ball because he has to dink it in. He can't put that in with any pace because otherwise you'll never get a touch at it. And it's a lovely control finish.
Yeah.
Nice side foot volley. I think it's Harvey's first assist of the season as well. So gets that monkey off his back as well of people saying, does he do enough in the final thirds and all this sort of stuff? Because I think he's been very overly criticised at times this season. Really nice finish. It also takes away from the fact that people just think all Darwin does is head it in like an Andy Carroll style, which he clearly isn't.
No, but it's the one thing that you could level at him for the first half of this season, really.
Not enough finesse in his game, I would say.
Yeah, he leathers it. And with the composure, that was a beautiful pass by Harvey Wine. It really was. But the composure to take the touch from Darwin and just slot it in, again, keeper really should have done more, but it was great composure in the finish.
Either come out to put him off, do something like that.
Yeah.
But we said this a few weeks back with Darwin, he had a bit of the Luis Suarez first season about him where all Suarez wanted to do was smash the ball every time he got near the goal. And I think now he's realised, sometimes all you need to do is pass it in. Robbie Fowler, I mean, look, if he becomes Robbie Fowler, that'd be great. But that was Robbie Fowler's speciality. All the great strikers pass it in. They don't need to whack it all the time. And look, great finish. And I think it's good for him today because he's got his back in front again, and then he's got the third to kill the game. So then I think those are more as important for strikers is you're getting equalisers and winners rather than the 5th and a 5-0 win, which is like, well, who gives a shit? The kind of stat pad goals, which they're nice to get, but they don't really make a massive difference on the results. Darwin is doing a lot more of these result-changing goals, and that's kind of what you want, really. Pleased with the goal, and then I'll let you talk.
A few other things in his game as well. There was a few crosses he put across the box for Salah that was just a delicious cross.
Great save. A good save as well.
It was a great save.
Schmeichel-esque, that, isn't it? Just make yourself big and see what happens.
But he put a couple of them across the box, and that was on his weaker left foot. It's like he's got it all, and that is nowhere near his natural position. Nowhere near his natural position. So for him to be putting in that kind of a shift and those levels of performances in something that he's still learning on the job with, and the third goal typified what you want from him because the third goal was a proper striker's goal. That's where that's your bread and butter type goal. It was a lovely move to get the ball out wide and left. Ball came in, cross the defender, bang, in 3-1.
And that's 2 assists now for Robbo, which now means he's equal Leighton Baines' record. Is it 57 assists now from fullback?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's going to get broken soon. So again, that's another record to break, and that's another challenge for Trent now as well, isn't it? Because his mate's gone ahead of him by quite some distance now, so he needs to go after him as well. So it's good.
It was one of those, and at 3-1, I literally thought, how many? I was thinking back to last night's show. Is okay, who put a madness in the chat? But I thought at 3-1, it was going to be 4-5-6. I really did because we were playing that well.
We had enough chances to make in the second half.
Zuna made some really good saves in that first half as well. And he's respectable.
He's a good keeper. He is a good keeper.
You could see why him and Kelleher are vying for the Ireland spot for number 1 for the Ireland spot. Our problem is I wish we had 2 number 9s of that quality vying to play up front. You know what I mean? That's the difference of going to tournaments and not going to tournaments. But I thought he had a really good game. But you get into halftime 3-1.
Yeah,
and you're thinking,
Matty in the chat. Emmett wasn't confident of the results. Only picked a 5-1. I mean, to be fair to Emmett, we can't really take the piss out of Emmett because Emmett was the only one. Emmett was the only one who said, "I think Brentford will get something at City." And to be fair, the chat and to be fair, me and Kev just said to Emmett, "Well, you've been on the cans all day. That explains a lot." humble pie for us.
Yes, very much humble pie.
But today was a day for lads who didn't get picked for the World Cup. Ivan Toney didn't get picked for the World Cup. Scores 2 at City.
Yeah,
Firmino scores today. If Ward-Prowse hasn't been picked, he puts a delicious ball in for Southampton's goal. So it was a bit of a game for some players to do a bit of a two fingers up to the.
There was a lot. There was a lot of points to be proved in when you look at today's performances across all the games that I've seen so far.
Especially when the guy who's basically took up the spot you thought Ivan Toney have is Callum Wilson, who is only fit enough for the bench. So that's yet another player going to the World Cup who is got suspect fitness around him.
That's where he will be anyway. I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to starting. But I mean, we come out for the second half.
No changes, which we expected.
Yeah, pretty much. But I almost felt as if we were in have what you hold kind of mode. You know, we almost reverted back into very safe. Just get the win and just get out of here. You know, we weren't adventurous in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? That's fine. I don't mind that because at the moment, performances are not the issue. It's results. It's points on the board. And the last thing that we would have wanted to do is, you know, let them, you know, give them a way back into it. You know, they earned a few chances and Ali had to make a few saves. And on the flip side, then Mo should have had a penalty. I'm convinced. I don't get how he didn't.
We did have a comment about that earlier.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Cat. If that was Harry Kane, that foul I was giving it penalty, it does feel like it's again this reputation precedes certain players, which is bizarre.
I just don't get how that's defending. You're pulling at the guy's arm. Where on earth is that defending? That's not defending. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's the same. You see it a lot with corners where defenders are bundling attackers over in the box. It's not defending.
No,
you know that's not football. You know, you can call it whatever you like. It's contact sport. That's not football, man. I'm sorry. He was beaten for pace. Salah did everything right. He cut in front of him. The only thing he could do was pull him back to try to put him off. How that's not a penalty is beyond me. But look, he doesn't give it. And that just goes along the standards of let the game flow. It's nonsense.
Yeah, I'm with
Quantum
Geek. I was watching it on Bein Sports, and they said, "Oh, it's not really a tug of his shirt. It's only his arm under his armpit." You know, I think you put that as benefit of the doubt. I was going, you've basically they went round the house to justify it.
Yeah,
and I was like going, okay.
Yeah, I mean the thing is,
luckily for us, it's not a game changer. But
if that's a decision that affects the result,
we're a lot more angry.
This chat is having a very different conversation to what we're having now, and more of it. It's really relaxed and calm and happy days that we've got out of it. But that was an absolute nailed on Stonewall penalty, and nothing will convince me of otherwise.
No, me neither. But we're going to talk about Ali. I mean, Just Hannah said Ali man of match for me. I mean, second half he makes 3 big saves.
Yeah,
we've got to give. It wasn't like it was all just one-way traffic.
Adams, the one from the header, I think, was probably the best save.
Yeah,
it was a good height for him, but the other two is his positioning.
He's brilliant at smothering it.
Yeah, he reads everything so well. That's his strength. He's always been a really good shot stopper.
But he's probably the best at one-on-one. He's one of the best at one-on-ones, isn't he? Because he I think he forces a striker to make a decision before they want to.
Yeah,
or it's been like they all. Do you remember De Gea when we used to play De Gea? Oh, fucking hell, I've got to put this in the top bin. It's the only way I'll beat him.
Yeah.
And I think that alone puts players off a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is,
I think Shea Adams actually played well today. I thought he did all right. And that was a good header. He got across Joe Gomez. Good header onto the ball. Got it down. And he just couldn't get it far enough away. But there was enough pace on it. It needed saving. But overall, I think we managed that out really well. I think they were limited to a couple of half chances. And I think if we needed to go again, we could have. I get where Hannah's saying about Ali for man of the match. If you were judging it on 2 halves, he'd be the man of the match for the second half. No doubt about it.
I mean, on another day, Virgil gets 2 because
he was aiming for the corner too much.
Yeah, I do think he should have scored at least one of those 2 chances he had. So there's a couple of chances you can think of. Salah's unlucky enough to get a penalty. I think Nunes has a half chance as well. So we tried our best just to get in there. We'll go through it. Let's go through the team and give a bit of an overview of each person because we'll start doing that to us. It gives us make sure we cover everyone.
Yeah.
So Ali, excellent.
Excellent. 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Trent. So I'll put this up from use.
Yeah.
Because I'm of a different opinion, but we can just discuss it. Trent again, sadly, very lackluster. Passing was poor and careless. I thought Trent was fine today, especially defensively. I don't
defensively
think
it was absolutely fine. His link-up play was okay. There was a couple of times on the ball where he was pressured into awkward spots, but in general, I thought his passing was okay. And I can't think of many glaring misplaced passes. I
think it's like a solid.
I think it was all right.
I thought it was a solid 6, 7 out of 10. Van
7 out of 10, yeah.
Van Dijk, I thought was solid. Yeah. Solid. Gomez, I think that's one of his better performances. I still think he gets a little bit lost positionally because the Ali save, the best one we're talking about.
Yeah.
He loses the flight of the ball.
Yeah. Shea Adams cut across him there for that one. But other than that.
Yeah. Robbo was excellent.
Robbo was really good, yeah. I mean, the 2 assists aside, he was up and down all game. It was just typical Robbo. So, I mean, a lot of those performances today for me were just your typical standard performance. I don't think anyone was exceptional, but it's what you expect out of these players, and we haven't seen this in a long time.
If we'd had this standard of performance off them most of the season, we'd be nowhere near where we are on the table now. We'd be a lot higher up.
Exactly.
So this is kind of like getting to people. This is the level you need to start to be maintaining again. Midfield wise, Elliot, I thought was
Elliot was good.
Yeah.
Good. 7 out of 10. 7.5.
Yeah, nice assist. Unlucky not to get a second one. Defensive work, much better.
Mm-hmm.
Thiago, just a dream to watch. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, he needs his own web channel. He needs his own website with age consent on it because that guy is just different levels of football. Love it.
And to be fair, I thought Fabinho was good today because we've all been critical of him, but he looked a yard back as well. So I was happy with him, especially there's a bit more pressure because there wasn't like a Henderson to bring on, which we normally do that just to rotate as well, just to give the number 6 a bit of a break. So Darwin, he's definitely pushing for man of the match. It's probably between him and Thiago, and maybe Ali to a certain extent.
Yeah, Darwin was ridiculous good in the first half. His defensive work was good, solid. Pressing was good. Forcing players to just simple things like forcing Southampton players to pass into areas where they didn't want to play in. Took the goals really well. Did everything you want out of a player. Man of the match for me. Easy man of the. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but I'd have him as man of the match. He did the hardest thing in football is scoring goals. He did it twice. And he did it really well.
He's now got the same number of goals as Jesus in a lot less minutes. And yet, one's classed in the media as a flop, the other one's classed as signing of the season.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's funny how perceptions change, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Firmino, again, that's the Firmino we know. His link-up play was really good, heavily involved, nice goal. Really happy with Bobby. Then Mo, probably the quietest of the front three, but there's always one that's quieter out the front three. You can't get them all there, but he's still involved.
He's involved in everything, really. He was always involved in the build-up play, and again, he's another day that he gets a penalty for that. The cross that Darwin puts across the box, he slots away. And there was another one that was a couple of shots were deflected out for corners. He could have easily had a hat trick today. He was good. He was good.
Yeah, and then the subs came on. Milner came on for Elliot. I mean, I think Klopp went down the route of I'm just putting on every lad who's got the most minutes under the belts. Milner came on for his 600th Premier League appearance, so he's only 9 short now of Lampard, who's 3rd in the all-time list. So I would expect him to overtake that this season. Possibly not catch the other 2, but some career that Kev, 600 games.
I think 2002 was his debut for Leeds. 2002, 20 years ago. It was 30. Damn.
No,
that was it's crazy, really.
Paul was saying we're still giving up chances to the opposition. Well, we are, Paul, but most teams do. I think we're not. Apart from the Shea Adams second header in the second half, most of the chances are chances that are, I would say, lower percentage chances. which is what you should give up. If you're going to give a shout up, try and make it a low percentage one. But Milner came on. That was just more of a have what we hold, we shut shop. That's kind of just the standard Liverpool sub, really, isn't it? Ox came on.
Southampton had 9 total shots, 2 big chances, 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
They had 5 efforts on target. Yeah, that's the game. No drama in it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Then Chamber came on for the last 15, which, look, he probably deserves to come on because I thought second half against Derby did all right. And I think it was also for a leg situation with Bobby. I think 70-75, I think Bobby was done then. And I think that's kind of probably where Bobby is
managing
now.
his minutes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we know he's not going to Brazil, but he's still on, like, every country has a supplementary list. Bobby is on that.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, if you're going to make a change across the front three, Mo is the one you leave on. Bobby is the one that you can make the change with because you've got Chamberlain that can come in and do a job there. And Darwin came off on 80, I think, wasn't it? Or 82 or something.
Something like 86, I think it was quite late, actually. I think
it was quite late, but you have to do them in blocks of 3. So the 3 that came on at the end were just see it out.
I think the Chamberlain one that came on was more of he could do the false 9 thing, but I think it was more.
But he could drop into midfield.
I think it was more of a flood the midfield and also make us hard to beat. And then look, the last 3 subs were swap both fullbacks, which is I think is a standard thing Klopp does now anyway. And then give Darwin a bit of a round of applause and give Carvalho some minutes. Look, you and me were both like, and I loved the young Scottish lad to get 10 minutes.
I'd love Doug to come on, but I think you needed that 4th goal.
Yeah, I think that's why I was begging for a 4th, just because he looked really exciting, and it's nice to see a youngster come on and
he does this a lot with a lot of the kids, mind that he'll give them the match day experience. It's all well and good, for a cup game and what have you, but it's just routine of the match day and what they go through, the warm ups, everything like that, so that when he does make his debut down the line, it's not new to him. It's something that he's done a couple of times before. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the bench a few more times in the second half of the season. European nights as well. Wouldn't surprise me. I think for 600,000 that we paid for this kid.
Is he on the B? Is he on the B list though? Because he's Scottish. Does he? Because the B list is always your homegrown player. So
under a certain age, I think you're okay. Yeah.
So I didn't know if he was eligible. Or not.
Yeah, I think if you're under a certain age, you probably would be okay.
Fair enough. But it's something to look forward to. So looking around the rest of the league, then we had Spurs 4-3. Ivan Toney putting City to the sword.
Yeah, I mean, City did everything. I mean, everything and anything but score in that game for a lot of it. But some of the dark arts that they were trying to do. Cancelo's dive, when you see it, my God.
It's not a very good one, is it?
It was a troll. And even he turned around after put his hand up. Yeah, yellow card, I know. But Haaland looked like he was miles off the pace today.
Did look fit, did he?
Well short of it. And he looked a bit of an ego, more of an ego than anything else. There was one that he missed a header, or a header ball went over his head, and he just led in his back for ages. And De Bruyne put the ball back in, and he was still sat in his arse. You know what I mean? So,
right. Before we will talk a little bit about the embargoed bit from Klopp, if you want to talk about it. So we may as well bring it before we go off. Who's your man of the match? Okay. Who's your man of the match?
Darwin for me. Darwin
for you.
Ali's very honourable mention. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, no problem. I've got a few for Darwin. Thiago, I think I mentioned. Anybody else? Let us know in the chat who you think. I think to be fair, it'd be cruel not to give the Darwin 2 goals, and he played really well today. So let me know in the chat who else you think should have been mentioned for man of the match. We've already had one mention of Ali. So there we go. Matt's gone with Alisson for man of the match. I think Hannah had that as well earlier. So right, let's bring up. So Sean brought this up. I don't think Klopp's comments yesterday are as throwaway as people are pretending. it does seem like something is happening.
Yeah, I watched that video about 3 or 4 times, and I'm struggling. Apart from when you look at the tense that he's talking in, he's talking a lot in past tense, but then he's talking about what Liverpool did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we brought in Virgil and Allison with the Coutinho money.
Yeah.
We've had to spend what we earn and spend it wisely. And sometimes you have nights like the League Cup where you would like an extra one or two more experienced players to play, but then you turn around, okay, Naby's out injured, Arthur's injured, Diaz is injured. You know, the actual number of players that we have signed up to us in the squad is full. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that we're carrying a lot of injuries. I don't think there's anything new in what Klopp said, apart from what people want to read into it. People are reading, micro-analyzing every single word. And
Yeah, because he says like, but investment will help. Well,
of
yeah,
course it will.
But also that's common sense. And he's talking about it because everyone's asking him about what do you think about the takeover, and he's like, well, if we get investment in or took over, then obviously that will help. But Klopp's talked about this before. I mean, he often talks about this, but I mean, he's talked about taking more risks again, which he did say in the summer. But he did contradict himself, but then saying, but it has to be the right play. Well, it's not. It's one or the other. If it's a risk, then it's not. It's not. If you see it as a risk, then it's not the ideal that you want.
Hannah is asking what comments. Hannah, if it's the video that was from the press conference yesterday from the embargoed section. There's a video going around social media. It's about 2 and a bit minutes long. I think it's on. I think it's probably on. Well, it's definitely on Shawnee's Twitter feed. It's on James Pierce's Twitter feed as well. I think there's definitely something in the water. Something is definitely cooking.
Yeah,
bring out the best rocks phrase. I was just putting the eyebrow up. Something is definitely cooking, but we don't know what, and I don't think speculating helps anything.
No, I mean, look, it's probably further down than we all think because just because David Ornstein's brought it out, and the club haven't really been quick to deny it. They've been quite quick to actually talk about it, which makes me think it's probably been deliberately leaked. So, but does that mean by January we're going to have new owners? I'm not convinced that's the case. I'm still in my head thinking it may be the summer. If it's next month, it's next month.
Yeah. Can you just do me a favor? Bring up Jono's comment there. 1 sec.
Sure. This one.
And I don't have a pop or anything, but you two are making it out as if it's the same old comments. I don't see it that way. The man wants more help financially. He knows it's getting harder to compete under the current model. Yeah, and what's new in that? He said this multiple times in press conferences over the last month. Go back to when he talked about the comments, when he was asked about Newcastle and City and PSG about being able to go and buy whoever they want, whenever they want.
That's true.
It's not new in that respect. Of course, you ask any manager, do you want to go and sign XYZ player? Yeah, of course. Okay, we can do it this way or this way. But there's trade-offs. I think what us as fans want is less trade-offs and more quality through the door. But at the same time, you're seeing it, especially at Chelsea, what happens if you throw good money at things badly. And that's where the jury's out still on Julian Ward, because he doesn't have as much credit in the bank as what Michael Edwards did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I honestly think Klopp does want January signings, because he's one takeaway, not from the embargoed section, but from his main press conference, what he was talking about was people think that the intense part of the season is just finished now today. No, he's saying the intense part of the season is coming when the World Cup is over, because we don't have a spare fixture date anywhere between now and the end of the season as is, and we've still got 2 games to fit in. So what we've been through so far pales into what's to come. So yes, he's definitely going to want to bring in fresh blood in January, but to do that, you have to make spaces in the current squad. So some people are going to have to be sold. Now, be that Ox, Naby, Nat Phillips, Curtis Jones, either loaned, sold, paid up, every which way you look at it,
or unregistered,
and paid while they're there. Something has to change with how we've been run so far.
Mm-hmm.
If a deal is that far down the road and something is announced during the World Cup, which is entirely possible, it does look like Klopp is firmly within the loop of what's going on, and no new ownership in their right mind is going to want to get rid of the current football management structure that we have at the club. None. Even the commercial side of Liverpool Football Club, you wouldn't bloody touch it because they're brilliant. Whoever comes in to invest in the club, just come in, give us your money, and leave it the F alone. It's run fine. Just give us money for what we need.
John's referring to the James Pearce articles today, which I've got a bit of a... How can I put this politely? I can't put it politely with James Pearce. A bit fucking late now, James. Do you know what I mean? He's like going, well, FSG, they always do 30, 40. That's not going to be good enough now. Yeah, but that's how they've been doing it now for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And James Pearce was very much of the, well, who are you going to get to do better? This is how the club's run, and would have a pop at people who would say that. Now it's like, oh, this isn't good enough. Well, you had your chance 3 or 4, the last 2 or 3 windows to say this, and you've been very quiet on it. Now it's jump on the bandwagon time. I get John's comment saying he wanting more proven players. I think the phrase was, at times, would you like more proven players to give kids more time? Yes, you would. That's the ideal. But he's definitely said that in the past.
We have proven players.
Yeah.
The problem is the proven players are sat in the emergency room waiting for fucking treatment because they slipped on a fucking floor.
Because he said that when he signed Thiago,
kicked grass. Yeah, that's exactly what he said when he signed Thiago. It was literally I watched that interview, that embargo section interview, and it's almost a mirror of what he said when he signed Thiago. That when a player of this quality becomes available, you want them to be at your club. Mm-hmm. Of course you do, but at the moment, we're not privy as to who's coming available in January.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we get to the end of January and it's the same squad,
we're in a world of trouble.
We are, because the squad's not. We know the squad's not robust enough to last a full season. That's been, but to be fair, Kev, that's nothing new. I think we all said that going into summer. We felt at least one, maybe two, at least one light.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we also don't know. We're talking about us, how we have 7 players away. There's clubs all over Europe who are, come January, might be forced into making purchases that they don't want to make or that they need to make. And they might need to be making funds available through other player sales because of injuries that happened through the World Cup. Look, as we've seen, a week is a long time in football. Imagine what a month is like. Next 6 weeks. The next 6 weeks, anything could happen. We just don't know. And there's an awful lot of guesswork going on. But the truth is, up until 5 to 10 on Monday, nobody had a bloody clue. None of the ITKs, none of these journalists who are with ties to the club were saying anything apart from when Ornstein released it.
But amazing, they all had it 3 hours later, though.
Yeah. And by 10 o'clock that night, everyone was an expert. And the truth is, nobody knows. As much as we like to think we know, we don't.
It's all guesswork.
Well, we definitely don't.
No, but we don't claim to be fair.
No, good point.
Yeah, so what's this? A lot of journalists doing blackfoot. What's going to put here? A lot of journalists doing backflips. No more net spend boys will be quiet tonight. Tweets. This article was pretty straight to the point. Well, this is the thing, though. James Pearce, he's renowned for that tweet. Oh, the net spend boys, you'll be quiet. Or you're like going, you can't do that and then do a slag the club off months later saying they should spend more. Stick to it, whichever side of the fence you sit on.
No, I'm pretty open. I'm quite happy for the club to spend what we earn. And the fact that we're earning an awful lot, and we've spent 100 million this summer. You know what I mean? We've brought in really good players this summer, and we've sold well. That's not a crime. Selling players well is not a crime. Reinvesting that money into younger players is good, and we're doing it really well now. You're seeing it coming through on the under-19 level, and you're seeing some of the players that are coming through that, like the likes of Ben Doak and others, that are coming through, and you're thinking, yeah, they're going to save you guys. They're going to save us a fortune down the line, so that we can go big, go ham on one or two.
We just need that. We need to fill that gap. That gap.
Exactly. It's
John saying like
there to there. It's that little bit in the middle.
Yeah, John saying that. Klopp saying he's positive about things to come. Sounds to me like he knows more than we all do.
I agree 100%.
I'll be honest. If we know more than Klopp, there's a bit of a concern then, to be fair. But listen, hopefully the reason he's already got someone lined up, player wise, that he's really happy about. And that's what we want.
James Stevens making a great point there.
Okay,
this is the problem.
In that case,
is the problem down the line. This is what we were forced to do in the early years of FSG. We haven't been forced to do that anymore because of the commercials, the size of the commercial revenue that we're creating now. You don't get. Do you remember in the early days holding on to the likes of Luis Suarez? You know, we couldn't hold them. No. We couldn't keep the likes of Coutinho. It wasn't a case of we decided to sell Coutinho. Coutinho faked a back injury to get out the club.
He's probably the last big one. He's probably the last big one to leave.
Yeah, Emre Can wouldn't sign a new deal.
Yeah, because he wanted a release clause and he wanted a guaranteed position.
Yeah, the days of us being a stepping stone club for the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona and PSG are done. They're gone. But at the same time, one of the things Klopp did say is inflation happens everywhere, including football. The cost of transfer fees in the market is a joke.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
And it's still going to go higher. It's not like it's going to burst anytime soon.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
We've said it how many years we're saying, though, it's going to burst?
The next TV deal will tell a lot. And you're also gaining more and more revenue from the commercial side of the club to fund the actual football club. So, look, so one thing I don't think that we're in a position where we're going to be forced to do is sell a star player to fund a rebuild. But we are a window behind in where we needed to be, I think. I think that's probably the fairest one of the lot.
Okay. Jono, we can talk about net spend. You said we've never gone higher than 45 million net spend in the window. I'm pretty certain the window when we bought Ali, Fabinho, and Keita and Shaq, I think it's 130 million. That, I mean, admittedly, that was the exception to the rule, so it has happened. It's just it's very rare. But whether we like it or not, that's how the clubs run, and the club's always going to be run like that under the current ownership. So until it moves on, there's not much it's a bit wasted energy, I think.
It is, because I mean the thing is, I know FFP is one of those things that doesn't exist for certain clubs, but it does exist. And at the moment, certain clubs, well, Newcastle being one, are in a luxury position where having an owner like Mike Ashley gave them a really, really good advantage now. But eventually that advantage will dissipate, where they'll have to live within their means, within a tolerance.
Yeah.
The same with City. City had to sell big this summer to be able to fund what they're doing, even with the added contracts that they signed. You know, so we are in a really good space. I think our available spend, if we were to top off FFP, is in around the £230 million mark that we can go excess over what we need to bring in. That would take us to the Everton level of FFP, or Leicester level of FFP, where we wouldn't be able to do anything after that. You know, so we're in a comfortable spot where if something happens, if a Jude Bellingham becomes available, he can be got, and others can be got within one window without having to make compromises elsewhere.
It's just a question of will they? But I suppose that's the question.
Will FSG? Probably not.
No.
Will a new owner wanting to ingrace themselves to a fan base? Yeah, more
Probably.
likely they would.
But I would say my immediate concern is they need to do something in January.
Yeah,
and if they don't, that they're also probably risking their investment when they do sell the club on, because if Liverpool aren't a Champions League club next season, the club naturally is not worth as much, and that'll cost them money, cost them millions.
Yeah, I think this is why you need to hope that you can have a preferred bidder in place before the window opens, so that you can turn around and say, okay, whatever investment we make in this window, you're going to sign off on it, and we're going to include it in the sale of the club. So FSG are writing the check, but the cashing of the check is on the new owner.
Yeah, or if they're sensible, if they know that they're going to get in the summer, you build that whatever you spend in the January into the cost of selling the club. Because it'll cost them, if Liverpool aren't in the Champions League next year, it'll cost them a lot more than the transfer window.
Oh, yeah,
100%. So, but the flip side is I'll be intrigued to see what quality play we can get in January. Look, it has happened. Luis Diaz, BVD. So you can get them. Got to pay for them, though. I'm going to pay big for them.
Yeah. Mate, it's 6 o'clock. I want to go and get my dinner.
Yeah, I suppose so.
On a right. There's loads on tonight. Loads on.
Been good.
Ricky Hatton, you got... Did you see Ricky Hatton, by the way?
Where's he gone?
Oh, my God. He's fighting tonight. Ricky Hatton looks like he's shredded. He looks unreal.
But he could always do that, though, couldn't he? The issue was, it's a bit like what Paddy Pimblett, the UFC fight, gets accused of. He was amazed how much a man could balloon and then go absolutely shredded. I mean, fair play to him, but
Ricky looks he's not a young man anymore. To be doing that at his age is phenomenal. Then you got Molly McCann fighting in the UFC tonight.
Yeah, got the main.
I think Ricky's probably around 45. I reckon he's about 45, give or take.
Yeah. He does look good. He does look good, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he looks cracking. I think you've got UFC tonight as well.
And you got the cricket tomorrow morning?
You got the cricket in the morning. You got the F1 on in about half an hour for the sprint laps.
That's not real sport.
For some reason, well, it's on in Brazil. And for some reason, and I don't know why, because I missed it yesterday, the guy who's on pole for the sprint race normally would be in the top 10 only just. So that's going to be my filler for until the Hatton fight, and then watch UFC, and then set my alarm to hopefully wake up and watch the cricket in the morning.
Watch cricket in the morning. Yeah, it should be a good game. I mean, I was saying watch cricket in the morning. Assuming it happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
With all the rain, we could be sat watching repeats.
Yeah, so I'll go back to bed.
Yeah.
All right, listen, thanks everyone in the chat. If you could smash the like button, it would really help us a lot.
So going forward, then we've got the Fatback 3, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, because there's only 3 of them tomorrow. Talking about this, probably talking about the World Cup, and then I'll be honest, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, because we'll have all sorts on, I'm sure, between now and the next game, which will be on the 22nd of December.
I know Gav is over in Liverpool this weekend with a camera, with a mic, and apparently he's recording loads of content. So there's going to be absolute shed loads of stuff being posted next week. So yeah, smash the like button, but hit the bell icon to make sure you know when it goes live.
There we go. But until then, cheers for watching. Please leave any comments after the show, because we do read them. It's always good. It's always good for us to get the feedback. Then we know how to improve the show, don't we? Yeah. But until then, take care of yourself, and look, Liverpool are winning. It's bossing it.